Welcome to the most forward-thinking, inspirational podcast in this reality. The show designed to challenge everything we've been taught. If you've ever felt there had to be more to life, more to existence, then you're listening to the right podcast. Time to open your mind and dive in. This is the Mental Mastery Alliance podcast.
And here we go.
Ladies and gentlefolk, today is another Monday with a number attached to it. I think today is somehow June 9th. Isn't it funny how winter lasts for 10 years and then the summer's over in the blink of an eye? Even with traveling. We did a lot of traveling this year. There was a bunch of destination weddings this year, and then we did the month in Costa Rica. That's like 3 trips plus a month-long excursion, and the winter still felt like forever. It's crazy in that perception. Is it in our minds? What is our mind? What is perception? What is reality? What do we even really know? I got questions about that. I got questions galore. Why do I perceive certain things? Why does humanity naturally perceive negative things? Why is this our go-to? Why is this our resting position? This is episode 332. Ladies and gentlemen, next week, I will be talking with the incomparable Christy Morrison in episode 333, which at some point we're going to have to record. She has come such a long way in the short time that I've known her. It's actually not even been that short time. Here we are again with the illusion of time. But again, it is a short time, comparatively speaking. Is it a short time in reference to 20 years? Yes. Is it a short time in reference to 2 months? Absolutely not. Perspective. What a depth changer. But this episode is kind of a mishmash. Somebody was talking to me about Joe Rogan, and it's like my back goes up when it comes to Rogan. There's another fellow by the name of the Fittest Flat Earther, and he talks about how everybody's wearing a mask and all this sort of stuff. And some of his shit is very entertaining, but he's recently attacked Sam Tripoli. Not attacked, but made mention of Samantha Tripoli. That's not his real name. And it's this kind of stuff that sort of irks me. Like, I've been following Sam for years. I've been on the show. I'm a huge supporter of the chaos that he brings. I like it. Joe Rogan as well has some interesting talking points. I guess I was never really a Joe Rogan fan. I don't know. I can't really put my finger on it. Because he certainly doesn't pander to anyone in particular, but I feel like he doesn't. I don't even know how to put it. Like, it's not shade I'm throwing by any means. It's a personal preference, I suppose. There's a ton of shows out there that I like and a ton of shows that I don't like. You can't like everything, You can't be liked by everything. And I don't dislike Rogan. His interview style is fantastic. I mean, I think the only episode I ever listened to from beginning to end was the Hulk Hogan one. I don't know why. Just a strange one to listen to. I even tried to listen to the Trump one, but meh. I think too, I mean, the king of all of these, I should even say the king of podcasts, because it wasn't a podcast at the time, it was a radio show, but Coast to Coast with Art Bell changed my life. The show, people could talk about weird things. I remember one day when I was, would have been 18 or 19, so this is like 98, 99, and I just had a bunch of energy one night, and I had 280 envelopes to print, sign, and stuff. And I just found Art Bell on one of the channels and started listening to him. And I thought, fuck, imagine getting paid to do this. And then it's funny how flash forward, here I am now doing this. But this was also my first experience. I think the episode I heard had something to do with sounds that come from the depths of hell.
Cavernous depths of hellscape.
Anyway, I thought it was fascinating. Fascinating to hear people talk about this stuff because, you're like, oh, it's all trash, it's all trap, whatever. And also remember, like in the 80s when we grew up with the Inquirer, national magazine. We have fact checkers, maintenant. And not so much anymore because everyone's like, fuck you. Like you're trash. Nobody cares. If somebody gets fact checked, that then becomes the thing that we look into. And that's kind of funny how a true mind is like, oh, you're fact checking this? Well, now I absolutely have to look into this because humanity is absurd. Okay, so let me rephrase that. I don't think humanity is absurd. I think humanity is moving faster than the machine assumed. Or all of this is happening exactly as it's supposed to. And we're supposed to wake up and we're supposed to understand. We're supposed to comprehend. And the fact checkers are like, look, we're trying to make this as obvious as possible to you. Now I could go on this fucking tangent for a long time, but I'm not going to. I want to talk. I'll get back to Joe Rogan later in the episode, by the way. Joe Rogan and the whole idea of podcasting and growing and all this sort of stuff. But particular, I would like to talk about the smoke. Where there's smoke, there's fire. And I don't want to talk about it as in this is a current event that must be discussed. More of an esoteric situation. I want to know, and I have curiosities as to if this is real. And how do I really explain that? It just seems strange to me that we've never had, like, forest fires were never a thing. Yes, they existed, but every year now we've got forest fire season. And the smoke was incredible throughout the city of Tirana yesterday. And there's something inside me that esoterically says the forest fires are smoke and mirrors. For lack of better term. Smoke and mirrors. Schmagokes. And schmamirs. What if we are told about the forest fires so that they can pump our cities full of this smoke? And I'm not saying this, again, a negative term or a positive term. My curiosity is just, or like I said, there's just some ounce of my being that says it's not good. It's not right. And it's not truthful. And also as well, redundantly, if you ask the people, a ton of people yesterday when the smoke was at its worst, a ton of people were like, my head was a little bit sore. I was out of it. I was groggy. My anxiety was up. It just seemed like a lot of people yesterday were having issues. People went to bed early. Super thick smoke, super big problems internally, energetically. I see this and I query. I absolutely query. Am I allowed to query? I don't know. But you talk to anybody about it, and they're like, whoa, the forest fire is fake. Like, how come nobody's asking bigger questions? I mean, I shouldn't say narrow matter. But how come when you do pose a bigger question, you're called an asshole? It's this sort of stuff that confuses me. Why is this part and parcel with it? Why is it, if I'm curious, I'm a fucking dick, or I'm a loser, or I'm out of my mind, or whatever the hell it is? What makes people decide that because you can, and we touched on this last episode, what makes people decide that because you have the ability to think and they don't, that they have the right to step on you, to step on your thoughts? If somebody said to me, I think the clown shoes are actually designed for giant clown feet and because the clowns aren't real people, I wouldn't be like, you're a fucking pile of turds. And my curiosity would be, where would be the gain? What would be the benefit? Let's have an open discussion about this. I'm curious as to know how you got to where you are with regards to the topic of the clown feet. Maybe they like to water ski. Maybe that's the fastest people can get anywhere. I don't know. I do know, however, that my curiosity stands. And if we look at everything that we've got, where 5-10 years ago, there were not forest fires on massive scales, yet every single year there seems to be forest fires. Every single year there seems to be an arson investigation. And every single year there seems to be some Dewey Decimal System attack. Some blue roof attack. Now we're getting into conspiracy lane again. Have they perfected DE dubs? And honestly, what's the point? I would love an answer. I would love to find out some piece of information somewhere that's going to share the answer with me. Because the truth is out there, Mr. Duchovny. That actually fell out of my mouth without even me thinking about the fucking catchphrase. The truth is out there. So I think the forest fires are real, but I think the narrative is manufactured. I don't know what it is, but it's one of those things that I'm really, really interested in. I mean, the idea of it being a smokescreen for geoengineering, weather manipulation, or chemical dispersal, they've already talked about trying to block out the sun. Did you see the sun through the smoke? It's blocked out. Oh, it's blocked out. All right. I don't know. I think it takes away your breath. It takes away your frequency. It may disconnect you from consciousness. Inch by inch, piece by piece. Not all at once. Not all at once. I mean, I remember a prime example. I can't mention that. I'll run the risk of being flagged. We did an episode years ago, and it was a brand new podcast. So like we didn't have any traction whatsoever. I think this was episode 6 of eventually 21, and the whole thing got pulled down. But episode 6 got over 280,000 downloads in a month and a half. And then the podcast got blown up, taken away, blown up, as in they didn't remove the episodes from platforms. The entirety of the seed was gone. The show no longer existed. And I couldn't believe it. I looked at that and I thought to myself, wow, free speech is literally limited to as much as you're willing to say. And this episode had to do with certain celebrities and a certain substance that rhymes with Google Chrome. A weird moment in time. I sit here contemplatively. Anyway, yeah, so as I sit and ponder and wonder, it's this sort of stuff that throws me off. Like I don't know. Am I on another one? Am I crazy? Do I need to worry about clown-sized feet? I don't know. But I'll say this, and this is what we were talking about earlier too. I want to always be able to push the envelope, and I want to always be able to communicate and speak and share my mind and share my thoughts. I would like to forever grow. If you look back on episodes 1 through 50, you can see where my mindset was. 50 through 100, where my mindset was. 100 through 200, where my mindset was. And the same. We're at 200. We're about to be 230. And the show, again, from 306 forward, was a breaking point, a switching point. There's so much I want to talk about. There's so much I want to convey and discuss. But it seems like the topics are either controversial. I don't mean controversial as in a bad way, but like some of them are boring and some of them are too deep for even me to contemplate. But I love the ability to think about these things and talk about these things. And if you guys are listening to these things and you're getting a piece of the information being like, oh, I took that whole episode in and from it I gleaned ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba. And then you can apply that to the knowledge that you have. I think collectively we've got huge knowledge. I'm going to say that too, because if you've been listening to the show for a while and you are a thinker much like myself, I'd love to have you on the show. I'd love to have you express your thoughts, your mind. I'd love to have an open conversation about where you are and how you've experienced what you're experiencing. And if you would like to be on the show, send me an email, adam@the-mental-mastery-alliance. I want to have you on the show. Talk to me, baby. Let's see what you got. This thing too about the podcast, like I said, I want to have organic growth. The Joe Rogans out there that seem to have pivoted when they got their bag of cash. Like Joe Rogan was anti-space forever, and now he's like, space is NASA's playground. It's a strange thing. And I understand that they want you to say things and do things. And I also understand, too, that with my knowledge of the fact that if I speak about certain things, there's a likelihood that my show gets either pulled off the thing. I own the seed now, so they can't blow me up. Before, I was hosting with the Spotify podcasters. At the time, it was called Anchor. This show, we weren't sure if it was going to take off, so we didn't put any real money into it. And then it did take off and it blew up, but we didn't own the seed. They owned it. We were pumping our information into them. And so this one is mine. Worst case scenario, they take me off all the platforms. You can still find the show on my website. Yay! That's the Mental Mastery Alliance.com. Let's see here. What else did I want to talk about today? It's that in keeping with what I was just talking about too, like it's a slippery slope. At what point do I start sounding trepidatious? At what point do I, like I said, Sam Tripoli, he's being sort of targeted by other truthers and saying like he's a shill, he's this, he's that. I don't understand why the two of them can't, do a show together. But then all of a sudden, now you're thinking, okay, well, if the two of them are doing a show together, maybe they're in it together, maybe they're blah, blah, blah. This all exists, I think, for the idea of humanity to find their own compass in how they want to proceed and polish information. I truthfully believe that everything is, I think that we live in Schrodinger's world. It's not just Schrodinger's box. I think no matter how you choose to believe it or look at it, everything is one way or the other. And people will say, well, that's cut and dry, good, evil, this, that, and the other thing, dead, alive, blah, blah, blah. Maybe. But then again, maybe not. And again, every single thing that you believe is true and is a limiting belief if you don't have the ability to question it. Your deepest beliefs. I don't know. You have to be able to question yourself and not shit on other people. And I'll tell you this, I don't think my audience right now is shitting on other people. I think that you're all awesome, and I think that you're all free thinkers, and I think that you're all doing your best to figure out exactly where we're going. And again, like I said, I don't want to have an agenda. I don't want to have an agenda, but my agenda is growth. Constant growth, constant curiosity. I want to be able to say I'm wrong. I want to be able to say I'm right. I want to be able to say I've gained clarity and growth from what it is that I'm talking about. Whether space is real or not, whether this is a simulation or Earth 3.0, what matters most is what the awareness does for you. If you need this world to be a ball, great, but it doesn't make any sense. If you need this world to be flat, great. That also doesn't make any sense. If you need this world to be a simulation, that makes some sense. And when it makes some sense, it's like, do I try to poke holes in this? Sure. But there's a lot of really neat things with regards to simulation Earth. But the truth is we sit here and have the ability to have this conversation, have the ability to think, and have the ability to make these creations. You do truly understand that you're a quantum creator. Therefore, everything that you have created right now is a result of your efforts. And everything that you think that you want is part of the game. It's all part of the game. Money isn't a thing. Food isn't a thing. Water isn't a thing. Shelter isn't a thing. Information, knowledge, understanding, comprehension, and then doing what you can do with those things. Do you go to the gym? No. Should you go to the gym? Yes. Why do we even need a gym? Well, because our world has been transformed from out there being fit and moving around and being in the jungle to being lazy and lackadaisical and this, that, and the other thing. Or philosophical. We no longer have to hunt. Or do we? Well, the truth is, a lot of people no longer need to hunt because the grocery store's right there. But guess what? The grocery stores are now too expensive. So if the grocery stores are too expensive, then we need to hunt again. But we can't hunt because we don't have hunting licenses. Because we haven't paid the government for the right to eat the animals. And if you're a vegan, to eat the plants. But plants are just as alive as animals are, even though they don't think they do. You ever watched a dog follow the sun with his face? You ever watched a sunflower do it? I say all this because absolutely everything that we could possibly think about anything, the change, the growth, the adaptation, all of it exists the way it needs to exist for us to comprehend what it is that we need to comprehend. And that's shocking. When you get into that energetic mindset, when you get into that point, when you get there, you're like, okay, I do understand now how the simple fact that I have the ability to ask the question of my origin, our origin, human's origin, and understand that you've specifically been lied to in the most absurd way creates so much more fun. So much more fun. I don't know. Like I said, I'm so anti-gimmick. I'm so anti-do this now. We're running out of time or this or that. I don't care for any of that stuff, especially in the coaching or the podcast realm and world. If you guys are looking for some assistance with coaching, if you've got something that you want to work through, reach out to us, Adam at the Mental Mastery Alliance. If you have a generic question for anyone on the team, info at the Mental Mastery Alliance. I think we should connect more. I think there should be more interactions with like-minded people. I want to know what you know. I want to know how you got there. And I don't want to do it in a gimmicky fashion. I don't want funnels. I don't want sales funnels. I don't want people coming in here. I don't want to chase money. I want to chase change. I want to chase growth. And I want you to come with me. So if you want to clear the fog, if you want to get going, if you want to get moving, reach out to us, Adam at the Mental Mastery Alliance. If you want to do some coaching, some one-on-one coaching, some real grinding, if you want to start a business, if you want to start a podcast, if you want to start earning from being on the internet and following your passion, I will teach you how to follow your passion. I won't teach you how to earn money. I'll teach you how to follow your passion. And money is simply the result of a job well done. Ladies and gentlemen, this has been episode 332 of the Mental Mastery Podcast. And for the first time ever on this particular episode, I'll say this. In the infamous words of Red Green, keep your stick on the edge.
We really hope you enjoyed this episode of the Mental Mastery Alliance podcast. Stay connected with us directly through the mentalmasteryalliance.com. You can also join the discussion on Instagram at instagram.com/the Mental Mastery Alliance. Let the team know you're listening by using the hashtag TMMA or tagging us at the Mental Mastery Alliance. To have your voice heard on the show, leave a voicemail or send a text to 647-338-1265. Long distance charges may apply. If you love us, leave us a review. If you hate us, you spend your time in weird ways, but also leave a review. Every review on iTunes tickles the algorithm, helping us grow. Until next time, unity over division. This concludes the most surreal portion of your day.
You got it, Pontiac.